And there we go guys, what do you think? My new CAD 12 disc that I just bought for 500 quid, and I reckon my money is safe. It looks really, really clean. So let me give you a tour around the bike and point out some details and some potential issues as well. So from a distance, it looks really, really clean, and up close, it's not so bad, but there are a few scratches along the top tube there, and a few wear marks down by the chainstay, and the cranks are fairly worn, but not bad considering the age, and the stickers have peeled off there. But it looks really clean. There's some marks around the down tube there, but definitely better than the red one I bought a few months ago. So CAD 12 frame with disc brakes, carbon fork the same as a CAD 10. Claimed frame weight for this, a size 56, is just over 1,000 grams, and that compares really well to carbon frames. So a Trek Amonda SL is 1,100 grams, so this is lighter than a mid-range carbon bike. It's only the top-end carbon bikes that are way lighter, so definitely not heavy. So the frame looks good, nice chunky weld, level top tube, hourglass head tube, internal cable routing into down tube, and a CAD 10 carbon fork. So the big change over the red one are the disc brakes and a lower specification. We have a Shimano 105 mechanical shifting hydraulic disc brakes, 11 speed. I think that cassette looks brand new, although the chain does have quite a bit of dirt on it, and the chain rings look quite grotty as well. So it's had some use, as you would expect. I think the owner did mention some new cables, and indeed they look really clean as well. So hopefully it'll work better out of the box than the red one I bought a few months ago. So 105 group set, we have Cannondale's own SI crank set with FSA chain rings, 5236 showing the race intentions, with an 1130 cassette on the back. So all looks fairly clean. And then we come to these. Remember these guys? Remember these shifters? These were thankfully a very short-lived attempt at Shimano to bring a new ergonomic design to its range. So launched at 105. Thankfully, they lasted 1 or 2 years, and they look ugly, don't they? That's the only word to use to describe them. But ergonomically, when you have your hands in the hood, they feel really nice. They feel really comfy, and it is a really nice shape, as ugly as they look. And it is that ugliness is the reason they didn't last very long. Also very long too, so you had to modify the handlebar reach or the stem length, get the right fit from the hoods to the saddle. So very strange hoods. We can see quite a few scrapes along the shifter body there. The levers look okay though, a bit of wear there. And the other side is also showing damage as well, so the levers look okay. So that's a sign it's either been crashed or dragged along the wall or road. So I'm not sure what's going on there. The bar tape looks fine. I think the bar tape is brand new. Looks very clean and very neat. So some potential crash damage there. So a bit of a concern for the rest of the bike, possibly. But these shifters will have to go, I think. I don't think I can live with these at all. But we'll see how they ride later on. And then we have an aluminium handlebar and stem. Cannondale C3 branded stuff, so nothing special. Quite rusty around the bolts there. Cable routing down to the frame there, and that definitely needs slamming. That needs slicing, dicing, and lowering for sure. So that needs work to address that. So we have hydraulic disc brakes on this bike, and interestingly, the bike is really showing its age in a number of aspects. Firstly, we have a 105 non-series caliper with post mount, which was used on road bikes to start with before they went to flat mount, which the bike has on the back. And also, oddly, it has a GRX caliper, so I reckon they must have had an issue with the original one and replaced it for some reason. So GRX flat mount on the back and post mount non-series on the front. So that's a sign of the times. And also the other one are these things. So when disc brakes first arrived on road bikes, they weren't using a through axle yet, which mountain bikes were doing at the same time, and they used the same quick release as on rim brake bikes. So we have quick release front and rear, which looks really dated on a disc brake bike. And that also means, I think, but I don't have my tape measure with me, that the rear axle spacing between the dropouts is 135mm, not the now standard 142. So that could be an issue when it comes to upgrading the wheels, which I do want to do. Can I get quick release and a 135 carbon wheel set? I'm not sure. Hopefully we can. You can see how worn that crank is down there. That's had a lot of wear on that. BB30A bottom bracket, so hopefully I can replace that with a Shimano or SRAM crank set, as I want to do, possibly, and get rid of this heavy, ugly, worn out looking crank set. The frame looks clean, a few scratches down there. I like the yellow accent details on there and around the back of the stays. And generally it looks pretty clean, it looks really smart. And the wheels it came with are the 20 Maddox, so alloy rim, non-aero spokes, nothing special, probably fairly heavy as well, big deep flanges. And the tyres are an interesting mix of a Schwalbe Laguna 25mm on the front with some wear down the middle but not worn out, so 25 on the front. And then the rear is a Continental Grand Prix 4-season 28mm wide tyre, and that has some wear but not too bad. So the owner did mention the bike was bought as a winter bike, which does make sense given the sturdier, more robust rear tyre on the bike. So it definitely has some use. Upgrade rear tyre, that rear caliper, lots of wear on the cranksets and quite a bit of cosmetic damage on the bike. The saddle, Physique Aliante, is fairly worn, a few scuffs around the corners there, and the finish is fading quite badly. But generally it looks pretty good, looks pretty clean, and I think a good platform for some upgrades, but with the caveat of the through axles, or the quick releases should I say, the post mount and the bottom bracket. A lot has changed in just 5 years since the bike came out in 2018 when it comes to road bike standards. Right, here we go guys, let's see what the bike is all about. All I've done is put my pedals on, set the saddle height, and put some new Castelli winter clothing on, a link down below in the description. So cold, windy, cloudy today, but dry, mercifully dry. So let's see what the bike is all about. And straight away, it feels really nice, it feels really good. And for 500 quid, it stops, it goes, it changes gear, it feels good, making no noise, it rides really well. It's a bargain. And just goes to show you don't have to spend big money if you want a decent performance road bike. Carbon fibre is better objectively. It's lighter, stiffer, smoother, more aero potential as well. But every time I ride a good aluminium bike like the CAD 12, I'm reminded just how good it is and how well it rides. And like the gap from aluminium to carbon fibre is definitely there, but not as big as you might imagine. It's crazy that some people overlook aluminium because of the desirability of carbon fibre. When it rides this well, it's such a smooth operator. Ride quality, very refined. Essentially the same geometry as a Super 6 Evo. It's a nice fast steering, feels really snappy, really responsive, and of course it's very engaging. Good through corners. The frame got loads of stiffness, plenty of snap out of the saddle, and it's not heavy. 8.9 kilos for this bike, so potential to go lighter with some better wheels and some other upgrades. Could easily go sub 8. And on this smooth road right now, the bike is as smooth as you want, and this bike has potential to be even better. Some new wheels, tyres and other parts that take it from a bargain banger to a bargain superbike. Although it's not really a banger, it's riding really nicely. Now I'm on a very smooth road right now, and the comfort from the bike is extremely good. And on road surfaces like this, it gives a good fight to carbon fibre. It's only when you hit a really rough patch of tarmac with cracks and lips and dips do you get reminded that the frame is harder, firmer than carbon fibre. But with some bigger tyres, I think it might be okay. But importantly, it's given me all the sensations and excitement and thrills I want from a road bike. It's racy, it's fast, it's light, it's responsive, and it's given me a nice ride today. 500 quid for all this performance, it's just astonishing. Goes to show you don't have to spend 10 or 12,000 pounds if you want a high performance, fast and light race bike. And these hoods, as ugly as they look, do feel really nice in the hands, really comfy shape. Oh, 105 mechanical, it's so good. Oh, nice tactile shifting, just lovely. The cable's a bit long, aren't they? I think these need trimming. All that aero drag down there, guys. Terrible, terrible. And given how good the performance of the bike is and how expensive even mid-range carbon bikes are these days, it's kind of surprising that aluminium hasn't really made more of a comeback and bike manufacturers haven't pushed it harder in the last few years. But maybe that's coming soon. Maybe it's time for a renaissance of aluminium. And if we can build on the amazing foundations of the CAD 12, then I think we could have some interesting bikes to look forward to, especially if you're on a budget and don't want to blow a big wad of cash on something top end, something carbon. Just want a nice road bike that does everything you want. So why buy a CAD 12 second-hand and not something else, not something carbon perhaps? Because I think the CAD 12 and the CAD 10 before it offer a really good balance of performance, weight and price and value for money. So this bike, when it first came out in 2018, cost, I think, £1,600. So £500 5 years later is pretty good depreciation. And a really clean example with Ultegra and some fancy carbon wheels can cost as much as £2,000. So it shows the market, the appreciation for the bikes. And while that's expensive, it's clear you can get a bargain like I've done for a second time running. And I think because most people are fairly sniffy and snobby about aluminium and do want carbon fibre, which I get. Generally lighter, smoother ride and just fancier looks. But you do have to pay more for a good carbon frame, especially one with a well-known brand on a down tube like Cannondale, Trek, Specialized or Giant. They can go for a lot of money. So for me, my criteria when buying a second-hand bike was keeping the price as low as possible in 3 figures, not 4 or more. And the CAD 12 is one of the best options in that marketplace. And there aren't really many other aluminium frames that really stand out in the way this does. There is a Specialized LA, a Trek Amonda ALR, the Giant does a few as well, but the Cannondale CAD 10 and CAD 12 series really have a lot of prestige around them and a known ride quality as well. So that's why I've gone for a CAD 12 again. So my plan for this bike is hopefully to take it from a bargain bike to a bargain super bike with a few choice upgrades. I'm thinking group set to get rid of these horrible shifters, some new wheels, tyres, maybe a new handlebar, stem, a new saddle, give it a complete makeover. I've kept my red one original, but this one I want to go to town on and see how much performance I can extract from this frame. But let me know what you would do to this bike by leaving a comment down below. And if you want to stay updated with this bike and its progress, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, subscribe to the channel by hitting this button down here. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon.